I do want to thank, before I begin, I do want to thank the Dean's Office for helping facilitate this. And I think we had started having conversations on Thursday about this, and by Friday, we had the email sent out and the organization set up. So, I'm very glad that we were able to move quickly on this because things are changing incredibly quickly. Before I begin, I do want to mention that this is probably the greatest shock to the American educational system certainly in my lifetime, if not all of our lifetimes. And it's too bad a pandemic had to come to create this shock, because what's going to happen over the next couple weeks or months is that we're all going to get a lot more experience using a lot of new technologies and interacting with students in all different ways. And this is an amazing opportunity as well. Again, it's too bad a pandemic had to be the reason for this. So I'm really curious to see what happens the next couple of years down the line. What are the ramifications of this? Are we going to completely change how we interact with our students? That's a couple years away. Today, what we're going to do is just simply really a crash course in using the technologies that will enable you to, starting Wednesday, immediately start interacting with your students and trying to preserve this teaching continuity. Now, what I'm going to be covering is how to interact with your students online. Trying to teach in two different modalities, if you have to teach to live students and online, it can be very challenging. But I just want to make sure that we have enough technological expertise here that we can at least deliver online content somewhat effectively. And we're all going to get better as we get used to this, right? Okay, so the first thing you need to ask yourself, are you planning on teaching in a synchronous manner? So are you planning on teaching live to students, say through Zoom? Or are you going to be doing it asynchronously? Are you going to be making videos and then making those videos available to students? I'm going to show you technologies that will be able to do both. And actually, it's very easy to teach synchronously and also make a recording available to your students as well with just a couple clicks. So that's something that you'll have to decide about. I also want to talk a little bit about hardware first. Now, my laptop here has a built-in mic and has a built-in web camera. They both work well enough. I've tried them out already. But yours may not, or the device that you plan on using may not have a built-in webcam and you want people to see your face, for example. So I just want to make you aware that there are a lot of different tools that you can purchase. I don't know if the college is going to be able to reimburse this or your department will be able to reimburse this. This will be a conversation maybe for a later time. But you can get things like headset mics for like $20, $30. And the nice thing about headset mics is it keeps the microphone a consistent distance away from your mouth, so you're not suddenly having very lows and very highs as you get closer and farther away from your mic. It keeps it pretty consistent. They do have wireless options as well. In fact, I'm using one right now. I have a little lavalier mic on. People at home cannot see this, but I have a little lavalier mic. I have a transmitter in my back pocket, and I have a receiver right here. So there are wireless options as well.
But we have to buy.
At this time, I don't know if the college has a plan to reimburse or the university has to reimburse. So this one that I have on me costs about $30, $40.
I noticed that they put the cameras in each room, but the microphone is in the camera.
Yeah, so that's going to be a huge potential issue. Is that so the question was, in each classroom there are cameras but no microphones, or at least the microphones are on the camera. That's going to be a big audio problem, and that's an issue I don't know if the university's really thought or appreciated at this time.
I was in my room Saturday, and after they installed, they told me, you want to test it once you go to install?
Yeah.
I just walked 2 feet away from the camera, and they can't hear anything.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend doing at least one trial run and seeing what the audio quality is like. My guess is the audio quality is going to be very bad for the people at home, and this is something that. But but again, all I'm doing today is we're just talking about how to teach or how to get ready to teach online. What to do in the individual classrooms, maybe we can have a follow-up session once I learn what kind of stuff they've installed there. There might be simple workarounds, but maybe not. So I'll have to look into that a bit more. If you want a webcam, again, you can get a pretty decent one for like $20, $30, $40. You want to get all of these. You want to get versions that can be plugged in via USB. I think all webcams pretty much have to be USB, but the microphone, sometimes you can get the, I forget what the size of the jack is, but the kind that you plug into your computer. 3.5 millimeter. 3.5? 3.5 millimeter. Oh, 3.5 millimeter, and those are typically don't have as good a sound quality. Another thing to keep in mind is that some of you like to write your lecture notes out, and that can easily be accomplished. If you have an iPad or you have a Surface, you can automatically, it's kind of built in that you can draw on them. But if you don't have that, you can also buy these little tablets here. This company, Wacom, is famous for making them, and this mirrors your screen. So as you move, across the little pad, it's like a mouse, and so you can actually draw fairly easily. It's really hard to draw with your mouse if you've ever tried doing that. The only issue with this is that often these require a driver to be installed, and in the College of Engineering, you have to go through the IT people to get it installed, which might lead to a delay. So, yeah. Oh, they won't do it if it's your own. Oh, but if it's your own personal computer, you should have permissions to install the drivers yourself. Well, Zoom is something you can do through a browser. This is what the IT told me, but maybe this isn't. Yeah. But anyone can run Zoom, but if you want to record. Okay. You actually need to have a license. Is that true? I don't. Okay, so the question was, in order to. We have licenses. Yeah. Okay. So the question was, if you have Zoom. If you're using your own personal device, not a university-issued device, can you record using Zoom? I have not attempted that yet. I've only used my university-provided laptop, and so I'll have to experiment with that. You can definitely run sessions, so I'll have to look into that. Yeah. Yeah, Camtasia is one that. Yeah, so that might be something. I have only used Camtasia through my university-issued laptop, so I can't speak to whether or not you can have it installed in your personal computer. So, okay, so that's some of the hardware options that you should think about. And what I'd recommend is that before, don't go into Wednesday or Thursday, your first session, without trying out what your setup's going to be. Get your friends or family. We're going to do Zoom in a second, and just try a Zoom session with them and ask them, can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Is there any simple fixes that I can do that could improve the quality of instruction? Okay, so we're going to just jump right in, and I think that the word of the year here, besides social distancing and teaching continuity, is going to be Zoom. It's an amazing piece of software. I got a chance to use it a few years ago, just before the Cal State system got a system-wide license, and they got that license really fast because they recognized how good this software is, honestly. So let me show you how you can get into Zoom. There's a few different ways you can get into Zoom, but this way I think is the easiest. So what you do is you go to zoom.us. And I might have to sign out here. Yeah, let me sign out so that way it looks like what it looks like from your end. Sign out. Yeah, you can put your picture up. So zoom.us, you click sign in. And by the way, all of these instructions, there's a video that's going to be provided, but also these instructions are in that crash course guide that was sent out. If you haven't got that, just email me afterwards and I can send that to you. That takes you step by step on how to set up a Zoom session. So you click in sign in. You put in your Cal Poly Pomona credentials, the same thing that you use for Blackboard. At this point, you may get sent to a single sign-in page. I am not, because I'm already logged into Blackboard. But then you would simply just enter your credentials again. And voila, you're in Zoom. Now, there's a few different options here. We're not going to really play with them all. And sorry, the resolution's a bit low, so this might look a little different on your screen. But you're already sent to a screen where you have a tab on the left called Meetings, and then you simply want to go to your personal meeting room. Okay, so let me just actually zoom out a little bit. There we go. So personal meeting room. Now, the area that you really want to pay attention to here is this link here, this join URL. This is what you're going to provide to your students. So I'm going to copy it. Okay, and this is, you can make this available on Blackboard. You can email it to them. And then they just have to simply click the link from their end to get access to the Zoom room. It's very simple on their end. And all you have to do is click Start Meeting to open the room. Now, before you do that, I want to show you one other thing, because some students, they may prefer to, they might not have a good microphone to communicate with you. And so if they want to connect by phone, they can also do that as well, to talk. And so there's actually a Zoom app, so they can actually watch the whole thing on their phone as well. So you can tell them just download a Zoom app on their phone. But if you go to copy the invitation, there's a lot more options for students. You'll see the link at the very top. Right? This is the same link. But they can also call this number, 669-990, 669-900-6833, and then they'll be prompted to enter a meeting room number, and then they enter this number. By the way, this is for my room. Yours is going to be different. Yours is going to be different, okay? So this, don't copy my link. You'll have a different one when you use it.
That's a different one for each room?
For each person has their own personal meeting room link. Is it a 10-digit number or something like that? When you log in, so if you go to, when you log in, you'll have your information right here, the join URL. Yours will be a different URL. It'll say cpp.zoom.us/j/ and then your room number. So you just have to copy it and send it to the students. So I'll show you, and then also when you hit copy the invitation, you can get access to all this information of how students can log in with their phone, or at least call in with their phone if they prefer that method. Most students are just going to simply click the link and they'll be in the Zoom room. So now I'm going to start the meeting, and I want to invite everyone here. Oh, and you're going to be asked to open a link. Just hit yes. And there we go. And then you're going to be asked to join with computer audio. Click that, and you can do an audio test also at the beginning. And if you want to join the room now, here's the link that you would use. This is to get into my personal room, which I've just opened.
Is that the room? Because I'm already in Zoom. Is that the meeting number 319?
Yeah. So just all you would do is click. You would just type this into your browser, and then you can join me.
If you just type the 319 number, that will be enough for the meeting ID?
Oh, that might work as well. Yeah. So if there's an option to just, oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, so then, yeah, if they ask for the meeting ID, this is it right here. The last, was it 10-digit number? Yeah, 10-digit number.
All right. It says it's giving me a download. Is that?
Yeah, sometimes it will ask you to do that. So I would just hit OK.
I trust you.
So you want us to join right now, correct?
Join in. So I see Ron, Dika, Victor's there. There you go. Now, Oh, yeah, let me show you the number so John can join us as well. Now, when you are running this, if you're running this from your home, I strongly recommend you have a good internet connection as the host. For me, my Wi-Fi isn't as good, and I'll just get an Ethernet cable and put it right into the router, and that's. Well, if your students are okay, we'll see if the policy gets overturned first, and then we'll see if maybe all your students are okay with having a virtual classroom.
Yeah. Students are having difficulty because their bandwidth isn't very good at home.
Yeah.
Are there any things that we can do to reduce that? Something like everybody turn off their video.
Good question. So the question is, if students have poor internet connection, is there anything we can do to help them preserve connection? I would guess that I don't know for sure. I don't know enough about Zoom to give you a definitive answer, but my guess would be is if everyone turns off their webcam, and some students are not going to have a webcam, right? So, but if all students turn off the webcam, I would imagine that would reduce the bandwidth issues, but I can't say that for sure. Yeah. Okay, so we're in here, and then now you're looking at it from the student perspective right now, and I'm looking at it from the host perspective, and I want to just draw your attention to a few items. First of all, I strongly recommend that you mute everybody and you let your students know to enter being muted, because often what will happen is there'll be this cacophony of sounds, or sometimes someone will have a lot of stuff going on in the background, and maybe dishes are crashing, who knows, and you want to try to mute everyone unless they need to say something. So you can mute people individually. If you hover over them, you can mute them. So I'm going to mute Martin Young. Okay. I'll show you another way that you can mute everyone at the same time in just a second. But I want to draw your attention to, there's various audio options, so you can change how your audio and video sources. Here, you can stop your video. Okay, so I'm turning on and off my webcam. I can mute myself, like that. Manage participants. Okay, this is where you can mute everyone. So if I just toggle on and off the Manage Participants button, and by the way, the resolution is very low on this screen, so on a typical monitor, it's going to be a lot more spread out, typically. But we're stuck with this low resolution because I'm hooked up to this system right here. So I can, you guys can experiment with raising your hands. I think as students, there should be an option for you to be able to raise your hand. And I can mute everyone. If you see down here, it says mute all. Can someone try to raise their hand? Oh, not in real person. I mean on.
That's why I was asking, what's the option for that? Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, yeah, so as I can see, Dika has her hand raised, and I can slap it down. I can lower it.
So you click on the participants, and then on instead of
Okay.
mute all, unmute more, we have unmute me and raise hand.
Okay, so at the bottom, there's going to be a participants link, is that's what you're saying, right? Or like button, and then you can raise your hand through that as a student. So it's going to look a little different on my end. Now, one thing that I found is it's very difficult to try to teach and watch for people's hands being raised. Not only that, there's a chat feature. So if you look here, there's a chat option. So there's a chat room, and you can start talking through the chat room, which is, a lot of students don't like to talk in person, but they can be very boisterous with their hands in the chat room. And so it's very hard for me as an instructor to manage all that. So what I'm going to start doing is asking students. I'm going to assign a couple students to monitor this for me and say, hey, if I don't answer a question in 20, 30 seconds, someone needs to chime in and let me know about that. But you can handle that in your own way.
When you say chime in, they just unmute themselves.
Yeah, so that would be to unmute themselves and let them know, hey, there's a question in the chat room that you might want to look into. Yeah.
Because you're not going to be watching your screen all the time. You're going to be walking in the classroom, right? You're going to be in the
Yeah, so this is going to be exceptionally challenging if we need to teach both in the classroom and online at the same time. I haven't even thought about how to manage that yet. Again, I'm only approaching this from the perspective of teaching.
Laptops in. Just get on the. You're in
Well,
class.
so-
Get on the Zoom. This is how we're doing it.
So-
We're not told to, that you can't do it online with the students in class.
I understand. So again, I'm just approaching this from the perspective of us teaching online to our students in our home or in our office, not in the classroom. That presents 1,000 different other challenges that are very difficult to coordinate. So my goal is just to get us used to the online environment first, and then we can.
You can have one student sit on the computer and you run the computer.
Yeah. So there might be ways to get around this. But anyways, I just wanted to show that right now. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a way to shut down the chat so that people, because as an instructor, I can keep track of people raising their hands, and that's easier rather than.
You can just tell your students not to use the chat room if you would prefer them not to.
Okay.
So that will be up to you how to handle that. I just want to make everyone aware that that's an option. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
On the microphone, what are you using now? Because you're on mute right now. We're hearing you here, but I don't hear anything
Oh, you don't hear anything through the computer, huh?
And I don't know unless.
So this is, let's see, do I have, I think I have this. Oh, no, it's I've muted you, so that's why, or you haven't joined by audio maybe. So anyways, yeah, so it should be working. Everything should be fine right now.
No. Like, we're not hearing his voice out of the computer.
You can. I just did.
Wait, how?
Unmute your speakers for one.
But that's ours.
Okay, well, yeah, so it's, you might not have joined, did you join the audio when you first joined? Okay. We can handle those technical details later. It shouldn't be a problem with our students, but it should work. It should be fine. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to make you aware of is, and I really would strongly recommend this. Let me get rid of these participants here real quick. And just that way, there we go. Is there's this button here called record. And a lot of our students are not going to have very good internet connections. There's a whole issue of housing insecurity in the CSU system, so people might not have even, they might be living out of their cars, possibly. And so I think that it's, at least personally, it's very important that I record my sessions and make them available as a video, so that way the students can, at their leisure at a later time, try to keep up with the course content. And it's very easy to do this. Now this, again, this will be up to you if you want to do it, but I really like doing this, and this is how I plan on doing it as well. So you just hit the record button, and that's it. And you can see a little thing in the upper left corner that says recording. Now I forget to do this. I forget to click the button for some reason. And so I always make sure to tell my students, okay, someone needs to remind me to hit the record button, because there's a decent chance that I'm going to forget. Okay, now this is going to keep recording until at a later time you hit stop recording, or you end the meeting for all, and it will automatically stop the recording. So let me just double check there's nothing else here that I need to do. Oh, of course. So yeah.
Do you know how big the files are? Like just rough lectures?
Yeah. So we'll take a we'll check it out right now when I finish recording, and then we can figure out for 5 minutes of a recording how many megabytes we can scale it up. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, a lot of us might like to use PowerPoint. A lot of us might like to do things by hand, right? Maybe we want to share a web page. Very easy to do. There's a big green button here at the bottom that says share. So you click share, and you click what you want to share. And what you're seeing up here are all the different applications that I have open. Now, I have already opened up a PowerPoint presentation for my air pollution class, and I hit share. Okay, and I can run this PowerPoint presentation just like I would in a classroom. Let me see, can I minimize this? There we go. Can kind of move it out of the way. Or if you want to make yourself visible, you can do that as well. So there's various video options. So I flip through this, I'm talking about VOCs and all this good stuff. What you can also do is you can draw. You can click annotate. And so I can draw lots of stuff on here. If you have a tablet, you're just drawing with your tablet pen. You can erase to clean it up a bit. And so you can have just like a regular PowerPoint presentation as you would have in class.
So if you have a lecture on your own handwriting, do you have to scan it?
Nope. Well, okay. So if you want to write, so sorry, I keep forgetting there's going to be people watching this remotely. The question is, okay, what do you do if you like to write things by hand? Super easy. So let me get rid of the annotate, and let me get out of PowerPoint. I'm going to stop sharing. There's a stop sharing button. And so everyone out there should stop seeing it. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. Now you can share a whiteboard. There's a whiteboard feature. And you can draw. And then you can erase like that. Yeah.
Drawing with your mouse?
Mouse. Yeah, I'm drawing with the mouse. No, I was just goofing around there. So, so you can share anything. You can share a web page. You can share any application. If you're doing SolidWorks, for example, you can share SolidWorks, and students can see it. Whatever app, if you're doing MATLAB, you can share MATLAB, and people can see MATLAB. So I'm going to stop sharing the whiteboard. And if you have, by the way, you don't have to use their whiteboard. If you have something on your iPad, or you like to use OneNote on your Windows machine, you can also share that as well. Any application you can open up, you can share. Okay, so let's say that I don't think there's any other major features that I need to cover within Zoom at this moment. A lot of this is going to be just you experimenting at home and finding out what features are available, but I think I've covered like the core features of it that you'll need to get started. I'm going to stop recording by ending the meeting, and so this will end the meeting for all. And what's going to happen is we're going to start rendering the video. It's going to, so how long did we record for? 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. And so you can see how fast it's rendering for those 3 or 4 minutes. What's going to happen now is an MP4 file, a video file, is going to be automatically generated and put, it's going to, I think, ask me where I want to save it. I usually just save it to the desktop. It also creates a couple other files, like an audio file, audio-only file, and something else. But really, the MP4 file is the one that you want. So where do I want to save it? How about desktop? OK, and now if I look at my desktop, here's my files, and here's my MP4.
So what's going to show? It's going to show you your face, or it's going to show the material you present?
We'll take a look at what it'll be shown, what we'll show now. Yeah, so the question was, what will actually be shown? Pretty much anything that you were able to see on the screen, that you were able to watch on the screen up here, that's what's going to show. So we'll take a look in 1 second. So is there any questions about Zoom before we move on to uploading the video to a server, or a host, rather? Yeah.
So when the students raise hand, how do you, I think you're pretty much just clicking on it and then it's got eliminated, or how?
Yeah, so the question was, back in Zoom, once a hand goes up, how do you make it go back down? The students can do that. Or you can, if you right-click on the student, I think it says like lower hand or something like that. It's very, yeah, it should be very straightforward how to take care of that. OK, so there's 2 options now. Let me double check. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention is you can also have office hours through Zoom in the same way. You can open up your room at a given time and have students come in. Now, organizing the students, there's this feature called breakout rooms that you might want to explore, where you can throw students into rooms, and then you can meet with them one-on-one. But that's something I would recommend just experimenting with on your own. Or you can have everyone just together at once. That also would work. OK, now let's go ahead, and I'll show you 2 different ways that you can make the videos available to your students. I really want to emphasize, do not upload these MP4s to Blackboard. You have limited space, and these files can be very large. And how large is the file? Let's see. That was for a few-minute video. It is 4 megabytes. So I guess on the order of 1 megabyte per minute, roughly speaking, let's say. OK, so if you have a 75-minute lecture, you're on the order of 75 megabytes. It might be different depending on the applications you have and what you're recording, but take that as a ballpark number to work with. I think you're only allowed, what, 50 megabytes or something in Blackboard? So I think you can increase that to 400 megabytes by filing a ticket with e-learning, but they're probably swamped anyways, and yeah. So the 2 ways that I'm going to show you, the first is going to be YouTube. So YouTube is free, unlimited storage space, unlimited streaming capacity. It's relatively easy to use once you get used to uploading a video or 2. So if you already have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. So if any of you have any kind of Gmail account, you have it already. I'm going to go to YouTube. OK, and let's go ahead. And once you're in YouTube, there's a little link. I've already logged in. But there's a little plus and a little video camera icon, create or video, or what does it say, create or a post or video. And you upload video. By the way, this is all included in the step-by-step instructions in that guide that I'm provided. And then you just drag and drop. All right, so Zoom gets dragged and dropped into here. Now, what's going on right now, oh, this is weird. It's not showing. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. That looks better. so the video is being uploaded, actually might already be uploaded, and it needs to be rendered or processed by YouTube, which might take a little bit of time depending on how big the video is. So what you're sent to is a screen where you can make a title. So I don't know, a pretty descriptive title would be the course name and maybe the date, March 16, 2020, and I'll call it demo video or something. This is all optional, but it can help to just create a nice little snappy title. There's a description if you want to put any extra information. I usually don't. And there's a link on the right side. And that's the link that you are going to be copying and pasting into Blackboard. Again, you're not putting the video in Blackboard. You're simply making a link available to the video that's in YouTube. So if you click that little 2 pieces of paper on top of each other icon, that will copy the link. There we go. And one other thing that's going to be very important is you have to go to the visibility, number 3. And you have to make the video, the default is private, which means only you as the YouTube owner, or not owner, but the video creator can only see it. You need to change it to unlisted. Okay, I would recommend unlisted because there, the video, if you make it public, the video will be available to everyone, and some students might not feel comfortable with their faces on a video that's publicly searchable. So unlisted will allow anyone who has the link to view it. So, but they won't be available on a public search of the video. So this is what I usually use. And so technically, if a student shares the link with someone else, they'll be able to watch it, but I've never had a problem with that. My videos are never going to go viral, you know. So make it unlisted and hit save.
Just wait till you screw up.
Yeah.
Then you take the video down.
Okay. So once again, we have. Let me hit close. Okay. So now, how do you get that link to your Blackboard page? And now we're going to segue into Blackboard. We're going to come back, and I'm going to show you how to do all this again in Kaltura, which is Cal Poly Pomona's hosting service. But I want to just kind of keep this flow going of getting that link to its proper location. Okay, so we go to Blackboard. And if you haven't done so already, you'll need to log in, but that's just with your Cal Poly Pomona credentials. And there's a couple things that I want to mention as well, and the dean really wanted to emphasize about this, about making your courses available and how to communicate with students. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention about YouTube, is that if you haven't done so already, you should verify your account. And it's very simple. If you type in how to verify your YouTube account online, you'll find it's like a couple steps. It's super simple. Why do you need to verify your account? It's because if you don't, you're only allowed to upload videos that are 15 minutes or shorter. If you verify it, which I think just simply means like putting your phone number in, and then they send you a text message, it should be very straightforward. Then you can upload videos of unlimited size.
Yeah, it's really easy.
It's super easy. But also, if you're not comfortable doing that, I'll show you how to do the exact same thing in Kaltura where you don't need to verify anything. Okay, we'll do that shortly, though. So here's my Blackboard websites. Now, this semester I'm teaching 2 courses, my air pollution course and a grad course. And I also have a course that is for my senior project, which I normally don't activate. I usually just communicate with my senior project students by email because I don't have a lot of them. But hey, this is a great opportunity to activate your courses. As the dean mentioned, you should be activating all your courses. Okay, you need to activate all your courses, or otherwise they're going to bug you until you do, I guess. And so I'm going to click on this course, EGR 4830. And if you've never used Blackboard before, every section that you have is automatically given a template to work with. Now, the first step is to make this available to your students, or at some point make it available to your students after you're done making it look just like how you want it to look. But the way to make it available is if you go down to Customization, Properties. I don't know why they make you go through these steps. Sometimes it's very weird, these steps. But anyways, Customization, Properties, Make Course Available, yes. Oh, well, I always just hit yes. Yeah, so I recommend people just hit yes to make it active. It will automatically get deactivated after the semester is over. Yeah. So I hit submit. And now if I go back to my Blackboard, you can see it no longer says not currently available. Okay, so now students can see it. Any students who's enrolled in that section, and they're automatically enrolled. And I'm speaking now. I mean, some people are probably like Blackboard pros, and they're probably going to be bored with the next couple of minutes. So bear with me, please. But if you're not familiar with this, this is Blackboard syncs with Bronco Direct to get the entire roster of students already enrolled. So you can send emails to all your students through through Blackboard, and I'll show you how to do that right now.
So that's the email that we want to use, right?
Correct, yeah. So you go in order to send an email to your students, you go down to Course Tools, Send Email, and then I usually just send it to all users. So it's going to send it to me, and it's going to send it to all my students.
Can you repeat?
Yeah.
Normally I go a different way.
Oh, yeah.
In Blackboard, you go email, and then tell you what class you want to send. But you went a different way.
Oh, yeah. So there's various ways that you can approach it. So if you find a way that works for you, that's great.
I learned the way you did.
Okay. So
you choose the class first, right?
yeah, so I usually do it within the class. So the way I do it is I go to Course Tools, and then Send Email. And all these things, if you do a search online, how do you send emails through Blackboard, you'll probably find 10,000 tutorials that can help with that.
When I set up sending email to this specific class, it will send to all the students.
Yes.
But I'm not allowed to put one more person. Like, for example, I want to send also a copy to the chair of the department.
Okay, so
we can see what I'm sending to the students. You can't have that.
I see.
So after I send the email, I have to forward again to somebody else outside of the class.
Okay, so the question is, if I want to include anyone else besides the people who are enrolled in the class, how do you do that? That's something I've never needed to do. There might be ways to do that. Yeah, the other option, the quick and dirty way is to do what you did, which is to simply forward the email once you receive it. Exactly.
How is that when you have 6 classes and you keep
So,
emails that you have to forward.
so we have a test email, and then I'll say, don't worry, guys, this is a test email because it's going to go to my students right now. Okay, and then, yep. Well, that's fine. You don't. I think it automatically sends it to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hit submit, and an email was submit to all the students, and I should be getting one shortly. There we go. See? Don't worry, guys. This is just a test email. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to communicate with your students within Blackboard in this way. So activate your course, and then you can also upload your syllabus and other documents, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. Yeah, question?
Did you say there was a way to send an email to everyone in all your classes across the board without going into it as an individual?
Well, you could send email and tell you what class you want to send to.
Okay. Yeah, so there might be multiple. There's often with these different softwares, there's multiple ways to do the same thing. So if you find a way that works for you, that's perfect. I usually just like to go into the course and send the email that way. But yeah, there might be other ways to approach that. So you can see that by default, you're given in Blackboard a bunch of different content areas on the left side of the screen. If you want to go into these content areas, such as like syllabus, you click on it. What you'll then need to do is you'll need to add an item, or actually there's different ways you can do this. This is the way that I prefer. I usually like to add an item. You can also just simply add a file, but I like to add an item, which is just kind of like a container where you can put information and files. And so I'm going to say that this is like my syllabus right here, and then I'm going to place my syllabus here. Now the way you can upload documents is there's a little paperclip icon that says Insert File. You click it, and then you just drag and drop your syllabus into this window here. Now, I don't think I have any, do I have any kind of, oh, here we go. I just got some random Word files here. I'll just grab one and put it here. Pretend that's my syllabus. Okay, and hit submit. Sometimes it takes a little while. Come on. Yeah, no, the problem is if the document's large, then I forgot how big that document is. A big document. It might take a minute. For typical syllabi, it's not going to be a problem. So then you hit submit, and there you go. So now students can click and get access to your syllabus or whatever other documents that you want to share.
What's the difference between item and file?
Good question. I just am used to using items. I haven't tried using files before.
When you do the file, it doesn't show all the information. Item shows everything, file does not. I tried both.
Okay. I would say just experiment with both and see which one.
I told that file you can put more than one file. More than one. Yeah, like a C drive, you know.
Okay.
You put one folder, several.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say there's a bunch of different ways you can make the content available. So experiment with them, and I don't know all the differences between the files and the items, but one might be better for the other than another for a particular application. Yeah. Okay. Now, what about that link that I was talking about? Right? We want to make the link available to the students. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe, you know what? Maybe I want to make a brand new content area called videos. So I'll make a content area here. I'll call it videos. I want to make it available to the users, to the students. And then I have this new area called videos.
So you're talking about creating a folder.
I think the technical name is a content area in Blackboard, but essentially, yeah, it's like a folder. It's like a section of the, yeah, it's on the section that you've created on the left side of the screen. Yeah, so I click on it. And now we're here, and I want to, it keeps hiding it. I prefer, again, to do an item. Okay. Again, you could do a web link. That would also work. But I'm going to say videos. And I'm going to say, what's today's date? March 16, 2020 video recording. Anything you like. You could just write the word hamburger. It doesn't matter. Just put some text there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. And then there's this little chain link that appears called Insert Edit Link. And I simply just have to paste my YouTube link in there. I would recommend that you would open it in a new window, so that way students, a new tab will open up that shows the video. Otherwise, it will take them out of Blackboard into YouTube. And so then they have to back up afterwards, and it can be kind of annoying. So if you open a new window, it will be a little easier for the students to deal with. And then you hit submit. And now, click.
How do you do that? Let me write down.
Yeah.
You went so fast.
Sure. So let me.
Button, and that's it. And you can see a little thing in the upper recording, or you end the meeting for all, and it will automatically be visible. You can do that as well.
So,
yeah. Mouse in the whiteboard. And if you have, by the way, you don't have to use their whiteboard. If you have something on
so
your iPad.
what happened is, so it recorded, when I was using Zoom, it was recording, I had the webcam built into my laptop, and also the onboard mic, or the built-in mic that was recording. So my voice might sound like it's moving far away or coming close because I wasn't standing right in front of it the whole time. I'm using this mic to record this Camtasia session. It's not really that important right here in case you're curious what's going on here. But you can see that that's what the Zoom session looked like. It's basically kind of like what you were seeing up here on the screen. Yeah, and so some of the stuff that you saw getting in the way, like the annotate tab, that actually wasn't recorded. So it didn't get in the way. At least I don't think it did.
So can you show us
Or you like to use OneNote on your Windows machine. You can also share that.
Absolutely.
You're just drawing with your tablet pen.
Okay, so the steps, so you can get the link from YouTube. Okay, and then the way I do it, there might be an option like using web link that also might work well, but what you can do is you can just, I make an item, I just use I typically use items because they're nice kind of containers that can hold anything. And then I just wrote some text. Let me break the link here.
You need to write something?
Yeah, you need to have something that can become clickable. Okay. Yeah, so any text you want, you highlight the text that you want to become a hyperlink, and then there's a little chain link icon that says Insert Edit Link.
Insert.
Yeah, and all this is included in that step-by-step guide. So it was sent out to the college, but if you talk to me afterwards, I'll send it to you individually. Yeah, insert. Yeah. So then you click that chain link, you paste the YouTube link, and you open in a new window. Select that option, and then insert. So, in the interest of time, I'll send you that step-by-step guide, so that way you can do it on your own.
That's a step-by-step. That's for Blackboard?
For all the stuff we're talking about today, or most of the stuff we're talking about today. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Was there anything else? I'm going to come back to Blackboard in a second to talk about how you can do grading within Blackboard. But I also want to point out here that if you have students who need to do a presentation, for example, and they can open up their own session of Zoom, record their PowerPoint presentation, and then they upload to their own YouTube account or Kaltura, and then send you a link instead of well, it would be just kind of like what we did, but they do it on their end.
So we need to send them guidelines of using Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
We need to send that to all the
Yeah, and so if you want, you could take that step-by-step guide, and you can kind of just tailor it for the students and what they might need. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Kaltura. This is something that the university has. It didn't get much press, but they've kind of created their own version of YouTube. It's far less popular, but it works pretty much just as well. And the way that you get to it is called streaming.cpp.edu. Streaming.cpp.edu.
What we're trying to show right now?
A different way, if you don't want to go through YouTube to host the video, you can use Kaltura, Kaltura. And you can access it by going to streaming.cpp.edu. And if you go to My Content, this should also all be on that guide that I was talking about. Let me log out, and that way you can see what it looks like. Let me log out real quick. Okay, let's go to streaming. Oh, yeah. Anyways, go to My Content, and you might be asked to log in here. Oh, oops, I didn't completely sign out. Anyways, you'll ask to be logged in, and it's just the same login information that you have been using for Blackboard. And let me make sure I have this here. Okay. I always forget which it is here. Oh, Add New, of course. So there's a little plus sign that says Add New. So you click that, and then you want to say Media Upload. Media Upload. So Add New, Media Upload. And just like it was in Blackboard, it's just a simple drag and drop. So I'm going to find my MP4 file. I drag it in. And, it loaded up pretty fast. Great. And just like in YouTube, I can change the title. I can enter a description. And so I'm going to call this maybe, March 16 lecture. And then you have the option to make it public, unlisted. I'm sorry, they don't call it public, they call it published. So published, unlisted, or private, and by default it is unlisted, which is the setting that you should be using.
And you have unlimited space too?
As far as I'm aware, there's no limitations. I'll look into that. That's a good question. That's a good question.
What I heard is that they were looking to expand our capacity in Kaltura.
Oh, is there a limit right now in Kaltura?
I think the overall university size.
Oh, got it. Okay, but not on a individual level then.
Well, I
or
would imagine they would probably
Okay. So if for some reason we run into a limit on the Kaltura space, you can always go to YouTube as an alternative. So then if I want to get the link to this video, I could simply say go to media. Let me just double check. No, yeah, go to media or save. Oh, did I not hit save? Let's see. Okay, now it's being processed. So it's going through, so it's not ready yet, but it will be very soon. In the meantime, if you want to share it with your students, you click on the Share tab. And there you go, copy and paste that link right into Blackboard in the same way that you did for the YouTube video. So I don't know how many clicks that was, 5 clicks or something. It's pretty straightforward, and once you do it once or twice, it becomes automatic. You don't even think about it anymore. Okay. So this makes it incredibly easy nowadays if you want to share your videos with your students, so that way students who are not able, maybe the students also get sick. Maybe they get the coronavirus and they're just out for 2 or 3 days. And they recover, but they've missed that lecture, that live lecture. So this gives you an option to give them a chance to at least learn the material. So again, I strongly encourage making the video. One thing to keep in mind as well, oh, it's already available. There you go. It's that fast for this short video. One thing to keep in mind is that sometimes, I've had one colleague of mine report that the default resolution that is played back to students is on the lower side. It's like 360p or something like that. Students can change the resolution by clicking this little gear icon. This is the same in YouTube, by the way. Right now, I think that a lower resolution is first available, and then a higher resolution is made available later. But they can click this little gear icon, and they can get a higher resolution video, assuming you record it in a higher resolution. And by default, if you're using Zoom, it's going to record in HD. If your webcam's not HD, it can't boost the resolution. But if you're doing like a PowerPoint presentation or drawing, that should be automatically recorded in HD. Yeah.
So before we run out of time, can we go over the grading? How to put the grades
Oh,
in the Blackboard?
Yep. So that's going to be the next step. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I tried several years.
Yeah, grading is fun in Blackboard. Okay, so I'm going back. So I'm switching gears now. So we've talked about in Blackboard how you activate your course, how you upload a syllabus and other documents, and also how you email students. Right. The last thing we need to cover is grading, and this is something that out of all the stuff we've done so far can be the step that takes the most amount of time getting used to, I think. But we're going to do a crash course today just to get you enough to begin grading in Blackboard. And there's lots of tutorials available on how to do these things online. I put a link in that crash course guide that you can get more information at. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to, I don't know.
You choose the class first, right?
Yeah, I chose my class. So I'm using this as kind of my sandbox to play in, this senior project course. So if you want to make an assignment, it's very easy. You first just need to find a location to store it. You can store it in any content area. There's one that's automatically given to you called assignments. I might as well put it there. But I'll click assignments. And then if you want to make, so you have to think about what kind of assignment are you trying to make. Do you want them to upload some handwritten homework? Or what kind of assignments? Okay, so making tests. Oh, you mean like a test that they've that they've done at home, or a test through Blackboard?
Now I'm going to put the grades in the Blackboard.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so that,
To compute nothing. I will do the grading, and I want
Okay.
to upload the grades.
okay, so what we will cover is how you can add new columns within the Blackboard, within the grading book, grade book. What I'm first going to do though is make an assignment, and then we'll cover how you can add new columns shortly. So if you want to make an assignment, for example, you're used to students turning in handwritten homework. You assign 20 problems out of the back of the book, and you want them to turn it into you. What they can do is they can scan it, Or nowadays, they can kind of take pictures. Students are pretty savvy about how they can do that nowadays. And they can make like a PDF or even like a series of images, like a JPEGs or something like that. And you can even maybe put them in a Word document. Whatever the assignment is, we're going to make an assignment that will allow the students to upload the content into. So I click Assignment.
So we went through assessment, right?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So we first go to Assessments and then Assignments.
Yeah, go by step. You know, think that we are the lowest trained person.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm balancing, trying to, I mean, this video will be available too. So you can go back at your leisure and go through these steps again.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know how much time we have. Well,
10 minutes.
yeah, if people want to stay a little longer, I can stay a little beyond that as well. I don't know if we'll have, if we can finish it in 10 minutes. So I'm going to make a homework. Maybe I'm going to call it Homework 6, End of Chapter Problems. I don't know. Come up with something interesting. And then you can say, here's your instructions. And because we're making an assignment, you can also upload, this is just like an item. You can upload like instructions if you have like a Word document that you want to use. You can also upload it in the exact same way that you did with an item. So you can click on the insert file link to insert a Word document or a PDF or whatever you have your instructions in. Or you can type them all out here. Okay, so.
But don't you just browse my computer and you can load the file?
Yeah, so you can, so what you would do then is you'd click the link, and then you can either drag and drop or you can browse your computer to include that file.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, you want to give a due date. So there's a due date section. So let's say I want to make it due next Monday at 4 a.m. Sounds good? You don't have to have a due date, but I like to put a due date because it will flag, I'll show you in a second, it'll flag the assignments that are late. Also, how many points is it worth? 100 points? And most of these other options you don't need to touch. One thing that I would draw your attention to is this submission, number of submissions option. So with the number of submissions, if you only allow a single attempt, they might mess up. And then they're going to be bugging you by email like, oh, I messed up. Can I submit a new one? I didn't do something properly. So I usually just say unlimited attempts. And that way they can keep uploading whatever the newest version of their assignments are. And because I have an option here clicked, or here last graded assignment, I'm only going to grade the last one that they've submitted. This is, I think, the default now in Blackboard. It didn't used to be, but now it's the default. I'll show you what this looks like, by the way, on the grading side of things. Okay, so unlimited attempts is what I would recommend. And all these other things, these are options you can play with, but I think that's good enough for now. And I'll hit submit. Oh, and make the assignment available. That should be the default. So that way students can get it right away. So now.
I most often forget.
Yeah, so that's the last option here. I think now the default is to make it available. You have to uncheck it if you don't want it to be available. So here, make the assignment available is one of the last options. Okay. And you can go back and change all this later if you want. So now, how do students submit the assignment to you? They simply click that link in Blackboard. They click this link, and they will be taken to a screen that looks like this, that tells them the due date, how many points are possible. They can drag and drop their files or attach their files. I don't know if they can drag and drop. But they can attach the files that are necessary, and then they can also send you comments too, as well. Like, sorry, I couldn't get problem number 2.
So what do you go to for the students to upload the assignment? I mean the homework?
So all they have to do is click this link, and they can submit they'll automatically submit it to Blackboard.
Okay.
Just click the link, yeah. By the way, if you're ever curious of what this website looks like from the student's perspective, it's really easy. There's this little, it looks kind of almost like an eye, but it's like a flip icon called Enter Student Preview at the very top. This is a feature they added a few years ago. And if you click it, you are now entering what the website looks like from the student's point of view. So if I go to assignments, it looks like this. Okay. Yeah, I'll show you in a second, but there's a little button you push called Enter Student Preview. I'll show you again how to get there. Now what's happening in Blackboard is it's creating a fictional student, and then you're entering that student's perspective of what the website looks like. Now when I exit the student preview, exit preview is what it says up here, it will say the recommended option is to delete the preview user and all data that's accumulated as you've created that user. You want to click that. You want to delete that student that was just created. So I'm going to hit continue. You don't need to click anything different. You just hit continue. But otherwise, you have a brand new student that's in your gradebook. That's a fictional student. Okay. So to get there, just as a reminder, you go to Enter Student Preview. Okay. I use it sometimes just to make sure what the students see looks reasonable and what I'm expecting to be there. Yeah, there's so many little interesting tools there.
You got that in fact in Canvas, just didn't have it in Blackboard.
So let me show you now how do you get access to what was submitted. Well, you go to Grade Center. You're going to be working within this area called Grade Center a lot. And there's two areas of Grade Center, or underneath Grade Center. There's Needs Grading, and there's Full Grade Center. I'm just going to click on Full Grade Center now just to give you a preview of what it looks like. Okay, you can see all my students in here in this class. I don't have that many. It's like 8 students in the senior project group. And hey, come on. Here's the assignment that I just created. Homework 6, end of chapter problem. I think I forgot an S in there. And you can notice that there's nothing selected because no students have uploaded anything yet. It's just dashed lines. Okay, so every time I create an assignment, it's going to automatically put a new column in the gradebook. So let me show you a different section or a different class where I've accumulated a few assignments already so you can see what that looks like.
You just type the grade in that column?
So there's a couple ways you can do that. Let me show you a couple ways that you can interact. So if you want to give someone a grade, yeah, you can just directly put a grade in here for that assignment. But I'm going to show you a more efficient way to go about it shortly. So, whoops. There we go. Okay, so I gave 100 for that assignment. But yeah, let me show you a different class. So I'm going to go back to a different class now. Let me show you my grad course on numerical methods. I have all their assignments uploaded through Blackboard, or I have them uploaded. So if we go down to, let's say, topic 2, there's this assignment that I made a while ago called Homework 2 Submission. It's just like the assignment that I just created. It's in the other course. And if they want to submit something, they click that link, and then they can submit all their MATLAB files and any other files that they might need. Okay. Now, I'm ready to grade. Let's say the due date has passed, and I'm ready to grade these. So the way that I would grade these is I wouldn't necessarily go to Full Grade Center. That's going to be a little bit longer to grade in that manner. It's much easier if you simply go to Needs Grading. So if you go to Needs Grading, it shows all the assignments that I still need to grade. I've already graded most of the Homework 2 assignments. I've left a few back just for the purposes of today's demonstration. And so you see I have 5 more. Oh, it's a little hard to see from your perspective here. Let me see if I can blow it up. Oh, man. The resolutions. Sorry, it's a little hard to see in the audience right here. But I have 5 Homework 2 submissions that I need to grade. Now, the neat thing about you doing needs grading is you can click on a student. Might take a second. There we go. All the files that student submitted are on the right side. Okay, and in this case, the student has 2 .m files, which are MATLAB files, and they're also providing some handwritten work that I required for the assignment. So this student was able to scan a couple of documents. See, these are PNG files. So these are video, not video files, image files. Yeah. Okay. They can also upload PDFs and many other versions. And so I can just preview here to see if they've done it well. One of the neat things is if it's the right file type, I can annotate it. So if it's the right file type, I can click on this little speech bubble in the upper right corner called point annotation mode, and I can put a comment here saying it's supposed to be 600, not 700. Okay, so you can mark up the homework right there and put comments. I'm going to delete this because I don't want, the student didn't do anything wrong.
Can you change the color of the text?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That way the student knows that that's something that you input.
Well, they'll see that little speech bubble, I think, on their end. So they'll be able to see the comment. And they can respond back if you want to have that kind of dialogue with them. Now, there's also, so I can download those M files, though, to my desktop and then run them in MATLAB to make sure that they work as well. Now, let's see the student did really great, except they messed up one part, and I want to take 1 point off. So what I would do here is if you click the down chevron, there's some feedback that I can provide to the user. So I can say, -1 point, you didn't make an equation. I don't know, make an equation correctly, or that doesn't make sense, but yeah. Just put some random text. And so now, so I'm going to give that student 19 points. Okay? Now, if I hit enter, it will automatically bring up the next student. Now, I know actually I graded this student already. I know he actually he should get a 20 out of 20. So let me go ahead and do that. I can either hit submit or I could hit enter. And it will automatically bring up the next student. Okay, so this is the way that I'd recommend to efficiently grade homework assignments, is you can go student by student. And just to remind you how we got here, we went to Grade Center Needs Grading, and that will only show you the assignments that still need grading. Okay. I have no idea how well she did, so, but this is the next student, and yeah. Now, what does this look like when you go to the Grade Center? Okay, so now I'm going to go to Full Grade Center. And so I have a column for homework 1. I have a column for homework 2. And you can see that I've graded many assignments in homework 2. And you see those little exclamation points? I still need to grade those. Those are still things that I need to grade. And I will get to them eventually as I go through the needs grading one by one. Now, if you want to revisit what a student did, sorry, I can't, it's hard for me to blow it up more and have everything appear on the screen. If I want to revisit a student's grade, I can just go to that student. Let's see, Nicholas Collado, 13 points. I can go hit the down chevron and then look at this attempt that he submitted. And now I'll be taken to that student's attempt. So I can revisit it very easily. And I can look at my comments that I made. Oh, problem 2, he did not provide written work on how he obtained the equation and other things. Okay, so you can always revisit everything that you provide grades for and change them later. Yeah. The nice thing is you have this documentation of why you gave a student a certain grade, and you can go back and reread your notes of why you gave him that particular grade. Let me hit cancel here because I don't want to change this person's grade. Okay, and now I need to get back to the grade center. Is there a way to return easily? Oh, I think, let's see, what if I hit exit? There we go, I hit exit and I return to the grade center. Okay, whew, a lot of stuff so far, right?
Now an easy question.
Yeah.
Okay, the students that take an exam for 45 minutes and they give you back the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Like 35 exams.
Great.
Now you have to input the numbers one by one.
Yes. So the question is, what if you have already collected, let's say, a couple quizzes and they're in your grade book, maybe in an Excel file, or maybe handwritten them somewhere, and you want to import them into Blackboard right now. There's a couple ways you can do that. I'm going to show you the manual way because it's the way that you can, it's the easiest way initially to do it. But there are more efficient ways to do it later on once you get used to using it this way. So,
Because it's easy, not because it's hard. That person
yeah,
say that.
it's straightforward, yeah. So you go to create column. Create column.
So how do you get there?
Or is it
You
create?
go Grade Center, right?
Grade Center, full Grade Center.
Grade Center.
And you go to, so what's the different? No, yeah, create column.
Create column.
Create column. So what's the column name? I'm going to say quiz 1 because maybe it was your quiz number 1 that you need to input the grades for. And let's see. Oh, and how many points was it worth? Let's say it was worth 10 points possible. Okay, quiz 1. So you can input the number of points. And I usually don't change anything else. That's usually all you need to do is just define the number of points that you want and the name, just so it's descriptive for you and the students. And then you hit submit. And then you should have a column called, there it is, quiz 1.
Okay.
And then if you want to input the grades, you just click on the cell and you input the score. So the first student got 9. The next student got 10. If it'll let me do that. Uh-oh, it's getting kind of frozen here. There we go. Okay, I don't know what happened here. I'm here to do this. 10, and so on.
And what was the reason why we put the 10 possible points?
Oh, it's however much. My quiz 1 was worth 10 points. So if your midterm exam is worth 50 points, that's what you would put in there.
But you are input, so you can input anything you want. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter that if you put the maximum points.
Yes, but then the students would like to know how many points it was worth. So it'll tell them that information.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you have to input one by one, right? In that column, if you have the grades in Excel, you cannot copy and paste that column.
There is a way to import the grades if you have them in an Excel file, and your Excel file exactly matches the order of the students that you have here. There is a way to take those scores and import them into Blackboard. I'm going to hold off talking about that now because that's there's more ways that you can cause damage if you're not careful.
The reason why I asked that question
Yeah.
is because we have teacher assistants.
Uh-huh.
After the exam, we give 50 exams to the teacher assistant.
Yes.
And he goes home and grade everything, and he input in Excel file. To the home,
Uh-huh.
test file, and he send you the Excel file with all the grades for all the students. So you want to just copy and paste that thing in Blackboard.
There are ways to do that. Alternatively, you can give your student assistant access to put them in manually. I don't know if you want to give your student assistant access.
Because that's the big saving having a teacher assistant.
Okay, so if you have a teaching assistant, I'm going to hold on. You can do a Google search for how you can, if you have all these scores in an Excel file, how you can import them into Blackboard. As I mentioned, there's some potential for some issues to occur if you're not careful. So I generally will hold off discussing that. But if you want to give your student or your teaching assistant access to input the grades themselves, you would just go to Users and Groups. You can go to Users. You can find a user to enroll. So and then you can find the student's username. So Victor, what's your?
VFOKHUYSEN.
Okay. So I'm going to submit. Let's see if that does it. So are you in here now, Victor? Let's see.
Normally takes a couple of attempts.
Does it? Victor. Here it is. Here he is. So Victor is now a student. His status is a student, and if you want to change that, you can change user's role in the course to be a teaching assistant, and that teaching assistant, I believe, will have permissions to change the values in the gradebook. Now, you've got to trust your teaching assistant.
Yeah.
if you want to give that kind of level of permission.
How do you go there? You went so fast.
Yeah, I'll show you offline how to do that. But you can also watch the video how to do it later. Yeah, just to make sure we can keep things moving along. Or I'll show you right after we're done here how you can get back there. I'm trying to think. Oh, I guess we need to have students be able to access their grades, right? So let me show you something now. I'm going to go to the student view. And Victor, please remind me to take you out later.
I will.
Okay. So topic two. Here's homework 2 submission. Okay, what students would do is if they want to see the score they got and all the detailed feedback on that homework, they could simply click on that link, the same link that they used to submit the assignment. Oh, and I just realized now I don't have this student didn't submit anything, so let's see what it looks like. Yeah, there's no information provided. Sorry about that. I should have had a student account opened up here. But normally it would show the grade that they got and all the feedback that I provided to them
So they have to go there to check the grade.
for that particular assignment.
And how about if I want to email the grades to all the students?
I would say there's not a reason to do so because they can go into Blackboard to check their grade.
No, because my science and biology, and after he finishes one exam, there's a teacher that sends an email, and you got in this assignment B grade.
Okay, so if you want to, there's probably ways. So the question was, can we, after a quiz or an assignment's done, can we automatically send a message to the student? Actually, on the student end, I'm not sure.
We're actually not supposed to.
I think they get a notification, right? As soon as you're done grading?
Yeah, they get a notification.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So one important thing that the dean wanted to stress is the importance of putting everything into a grade book, because if one of us gets sick, really sick, we need to know the grades for the students. We need to have a record of the grades. So getting this all into the grade book as soon as possible is really important, just in case one of us gets severely sick and we need to.
At least we can just copy from Excel, right?
Yes, but what if you're too sick to even do that? What if it hits you all of a sudden at once and you're out?
Yeah, I'm nearly 65. I can drop like that.
Yeah. So the idea then is we need that record of how students were performing up to that point, because they might not have access to your Excel file. They might not even know where to find it on the computer. So try to get all that information as soon as possible. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's critical. I think that those are all the super critical assignments that we needed to cover, because I see that we're also out of time and I want to be mindful of your time. If you're willing to stick around, oh yeah, question.
Yeah, this may or may not consider Whiteboard. What about the exam, the major exam, like midterm we give to students in their class?
Excellent question.
White actually handing 3 pages of their work. How do you handle that here?
Excellent question. So the question was, we're used to giving midterms and quizzes in class. What do we do about that? And the answer is there isn't an official policy about this yet, and it's going to really depend on what you're comfortable doing. So one idea that I've heard floated around is that you have all the students during the normal class time meet in a Zoom session with webcams aimed at their faces and their surroundings, and you make available to them a test online, and they have to then maybe write their answers, and the paper has to be in the line of sight of the webcam. And that way you can kind of monitor them as you would in a classroom. So you could post, say you post on Blackboard, you make available right at the beginning of class, here's the midterm exam. They will click on it so they can see the midterm exam, and then they can write their answers on a piece of paper, and then they'll scan and upload that paper at the end of the test. That's one idea, for example.
They do that at home or remote side?
Yeah, that would be the idea, is maybe they would do this at home.
Closed book, closed notes?
So decisions about closed book, closed notes will be your decision as the instructor. I haven't seen or heard anything official from the university about handle these situations. It sounds like we're pretty much on our own. This is, I mean, this is an absolutely important question that you're asking, a critical question. And we might have a follow-up session after all the dust settles, after about a week or so. We might have a follow-up session on ideas on how to handle these kind of things. But I think right now it's much more about focused on making sure we're able to give instruction to students at Wednesday and Thursday.
This Wednesday, we go back to the regular schedule.
Um,
And if the students want to be online, it's up to them, right? That's the plan.
So the official policy, I'm looking right now if there's been any update. Nope. The official policy of the university is that if one student tells you that they want to be on campus to learn, that you are supposed to be in the classroom.
Yeah, but by Wednesday, we have to go back to the regular schedule.
Oh, yes, the regular meeting schedule, correct, by Wednesday. So if you normally meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 to 12, then you would meet with them 11 somehow, either online
Yeah.
or
Okay.
in person or whatever.
Sometimes there's so many instructions, we get so confused, So
Yeah.
Wednesday, we go back to class. If the students, they want to stay home, we use the videos.
Yeah. So that's the idea is that you're going to keep your normally scheduled meeting times, and the mode of instruction will depend on, I guess, what the students
So I had to cancel
want.
my tickets to Hawaii already.
Yeah,
I was in vacation.
I had to cancel my tickets to Europe for spring break. So yeah.
But if you're over 65, you're not required.
Yeah. Question.
Do you have actual experience writing quantitative tests to be done through Blackboard?
Oh, okay. So hold on. There we go. So if you want to do tests through Blackboard, there is a feature on here, and due to lack of time, I don't have time to go into this.
My question is,
Oh, do I have experience with that? No, I usually do not offer exams through Blackboard, but that's a good point. We should poll the college to see who does have that expertise, and then whoever's going to run the next session to give ideas. That's an excellent question, or an excellent idea, is that I'm sure we have people who do have experience.
Some exams that I took, there was a take-home exam. They do the exam at home, and for 5 cents, they go to Office Depot or Staples. They can scan the whole exam, and they can load them.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure out those details about how to do the exams once the dust settles. So I'm gonna call it a session right now, but I'll stick around for as long as you need me to answer questions and.
Can you put my name to send me those instructions that users want, that you say you?
We'll take care of that right now. So let me just stop the recording and then.